it's all very wishy-washy. It's all very, how do you do, fellow kids? I have feelings too, and I also love. Don't you love? Isn't that great? Having fun ain't hard with a library card. Take a look, it's in a book. Now is a really good time for me to learn what it's like to be drunk. I'll do it right now. What if the engine actually worked like this? What if the engine was different and it worked like this? This is Series Acclamation Mill. That's the name of her character. Sam. S-A-M. They probably could have come up with something better. Maybe Species Acclamation Mission. After all, that perfectly describes what she's doing here. She's a holographic being, a photonic. Her job, given to her by her maker, not our maker, we're meeting her maker, and that job is to become acclimatized to organics. You see, the overarching idea here is that her world is all holograms, not unlike the Doctor, who we remember from Voyager, and we know also from this show, infamously, with his line of dialogue that I won't go over again from the previous episode. She is here to see if our holographic friends can be kind of reintegrated into the organic world. We need to understand organics, people who are limited to one body, flesh, bone, things like that. And her adventure is to understand not just herself and not just the organic biological people around her, but also how they fit together, you see, and that mission will reflect onto her maker, and then they'll make a decision based on that. Are we going to be fraternizing with the organics? Your job here is to enroll in this academy. Your job here is to become a part of this course called Exploring the Unknown or Exploring the Unexplainable. I can't really remember. Series Acclamation Mill is also the title of this episode. Sam. Last episode was about Jade and Kraag. This one is about Sam. And I think we're probably going to be running the whole gamut on all of our different characters here. Some are going to be more interesting than others. Indeed, I preferred, to spoil my review score for you, I preferred the previous episode of this, wherein we learned about Jaden. This one is about Sam, like I said before. What are we doing in this episode? Well, for one thing in this episode, there is no fourth wall. You've heard of breaking the fourth wall, where I say, hey, person watching this video, this is a review. See, I'm breaking the reality, the on-screen reality of what I'm trying to show you. It's like watching a movie and then someone looks directly at the camera and says, hey, I know that you're watching me. I'm in a movie. Something like that, right? So when I say this episode has no fourth wall, that means there is no, like, the internal logic of this, the world as it is presented in this episode, is inconsistent or non-existent. Graphics display on the screen, somewhat summoned by Sam herself. I would venture a guess that she can affect the camera. She talks directly to the camera. She talks to you, speaking to you right here. She talks about herself, her history. She's from Cask, what her mission is here. And it wasn't for me. I try to appreciate the creativity in things. You would go into this episode, if you've seen any kind of behind the scenes stuff or any kind of news about this episode, you would go into this thinking this was actually about, like, Sisko, as in the Sisko from Deep Space Nine, which I love. Thankfully, it's not really. Why do I say thankfully? You think I'd be excited about this? Not really. Imagine if we hadn't have gotten Picard season 3. Imagine if we brought Picard back out of his grave for one last chance at messing it up. I'm very much of the opinion that we should just leave sleeping dogs lie. Okay, bringing back Sisko physically, I should say, it's just one more chance to ruin him. It's one more chance to make Sisko a sham. It's one more chance to defile his memory, and I'm glad they didn't do that. But, like I said before, you can't really review something based on what you wish it would be. Neither can you review something based on what is not there. It's kind of an odd thing to say. I'm going to give this a good score because they didn't do something. It's kind of odd. I prefer to review things based on what is there. So therefore, going forward, anything to do with Sisko or the lack thereof is not really going to be. It's not going to be something that weighs heavily on the review score. We'll say that. You see, Sam, when she needs to enroll in the Exploring the Unknown or the Unexplainable or whatever it is, basically a program that her makers say that is going to help them understand organics a little bit better. She can't really get into it because we're all like near the end of this semester, in the middle of the semester, begging the question, why can't you just download the information? I know we're trying to understand organics. I know we're trying to go through the process of becoming more like them to experience what it is to be like them. And part of that probably excludes just downloading information. But I think in this case, if we need to get into this course and we're already like halfway through it and she's never going to catch up, maybe just install it. Can we install it? We already have Caleb Meir reprogramming her in this episode. Let's just get her up to speed, right? We need to know these things. Let's help out with that. That's not what we do. Instead, she spies with her little eye another course that she could become a part of this far into the semester, which is, what happened to Benjamin Sisko? Did he die in the fire caves of Bajor, or did he live on the Celestial Temple? We're essentially investigating the veracity of what has become a key part of Bajoran religion, right? And I wonder how many Bajorans are in this class. We don't actually get to sit in on it, but we get to see Sam on her mission to understand it. And she meets Illa or Isla. She appears to be like a Cardassian, possibly half Cardassian. And she's important later. Don't worry, because we are indeed in a very small world. We're 1,000 years in the future, and space is a big place, but we keep meeting our old friends. Not to spoil anything, she finds out from her that she can go to like a virtual display of Benjamin Sisko. There's even a virtual museum. It's like the museum in New Orleans can be virtually displayed at the at Starfleet Academy, it would seem. And this is an example of one of many examples in this episode of not going anywhere. We're really getting the use out of this set design that we made here. Our gigantuan, I should say, because it's funny, set design that we created exclusively for Starfleet Academy. We don't really go anywhere. We don't really see anything. And this episode is kind of withholding with regards to, new adventures with new species, new planets, new civilizations, yada, yada, yada. And it didn't feel withholding in a funny way, like it would have been, say, in, I don't know, Deep Space Nine. Remember how you never see Morn talk? This is withholding in an annoying way, because I was so ready to see all the new things that they were teasing that ended up not showing up. However, what did show up was Jake Sisko, who I believe was still played by Cirroc Lofton, who had played him in Deep Space Nine. We get to see a virtual display of him, it's kind of like a holodeck, but just one person. If you can imagine that, I know, right? He talks about his dad and reveals nothing of particular significance. It's all very wishy-washy. It's all very, how do you do, fellow kids? I have feelings too, and I also love. Don't you love? Isn't that great? Having fun ain't hard with a library card. Take a look. It's in a book. And you would think I was going to say, wow, nothing of consequence? That sounds boring. No. Nothing of consequence means they didn't try to change anything. They didn't ruin anything. She's in this virtual museum. We see that typewriter that Sisko physically had. Remember when he physically had that in Deep Space Nine? Remember? If you know, you know. But she also sees a Bajoran orb. And at first I thought, wow, I can't believe they just allow the public to open a Bajoran orb box and touch it. Like, these are very, very important things. Why isn't this on Bajor? And then I remembered, oh, this is virtual. It's not real. But you know who didn't remember that? Sam. Sam tries to talk to the Bajoran orb to learn more about Sisko. And somehow I'm thinking, this is probably not going to work. Does she know that this is physically not the Bajoran orb? This is a virtual representation of it? Bajoran orbs are something from Deep Space Nine that you don't really need to understand at this moment, but you should definitely watch Deep Space Nine. A Bajoran orb is kind of like, I think they even call it a comm badge of sorts that allow you to talk to the prophets, who are the gods of the Bajorans, to put it extremely simply. And no, obviously this virtual VR orb is not going to tell Sam anything about Sisko, and certainly it should not. And the writers of this episode were at least smart enough to realize that they shouldn't be really telling people about Sisko. It's better not to know if he's dead or not. It calls to mind, for me anyway, Season 5 of Discovery. When Season 5 Discovery began, we knew that we were eventually going to meet the, progenitors? The aliens from the episode TNG, The Chase. Won't really get into that, and I'm not really going to spoil anything. But we kind of knew early on, and all the way to the end, in fact, that there's no satisfying answer to the question regarding the progenitors. Do we use their power? Do we remove their power, as in seal it away somewhere, as it was before? Do we never get there? There's no good answer, because we knew that our characters knew that they knew that the only reasonable answer here was to not use it at all, was to disengage from the progenitors, was to not be involved, was to not change the landscape of reality itself. It's better to leave it alone, right? Thankfully, that's what the writers of this episode were thinking too. Let's leave it alone. We can bring in Jake Sisko to kind of pontificate about his dad a little bit, but he doesn't really change anything. He doesn't really, offer anything new. After all, this episode, as I said before, is not about Sisko or his son. This is about Sam and Sam's adventure with her own experience being an emissary of sorts. You see, they call Benjamin Sisko an emissary of the prophets. They also call Sam an emissary. She is an emissary for her photonic makers. To an emissary, a diplomat, an ambassador, things like that. And that's not the only one in this episode, because in our B plot, which is woefully inadequate, boring, and unfunny, Calrec is trying to warm up a part of the Pacific Ocean in order to woo Chancellor Amal, I think it was, from Alpharati. Their military academy is convening with ours, as in the War College, as in Starfleet Academy writ large. And he has to go through some kind of a dinner ritual that involved a giant fish on the table. And what in a scene I imagine was designed to be funny, the doctor, Nahla, Jet Reno, and himself are playing out a mock dinner that he's supposed to have with this chancellor from Alpharati, and it doesn't really go according to plan when the fish decides to outgas its internal air right when Calrec sat down, making it look like he farted. They all laugh at him. Yeah, he's a little bit uptight, but I also feel bad for him. Starfleet Academy, if there's one thing it's good at, it's making me feel bad for the characters. Last episode, I felt so bad for the Klingons. I felt bad for them. And I even felt bad for the Betazoids in their own way episodes ago. But this time, I feel bad for Calrec. I feel bad for Nahla. They just... Everybody kind of comes off like they're in each other's way. And they fight more than they laugh. And it's always awkward. It's always a battle between these people. And it's never funny enough to justify it. But Calrec doesn't take this whole farting joke coming out of the fish very well. He storms off, complains to Nahla that why did you abandon Starfleet for a lanthanite? You have a short memory. That kind of hit a little bit hard. And then a few scenes later, they just make up in a turbolift scene, what I assume is a turbolift. And that's the end of that plot. You thought you were going to meet the Alpharati people, or you're going to meet Amal or whatever, that chancellor from them. Nope. You're not going to meet the fire eels either. They bring up that they're warming this section of the ocean to accommodate their eels. That doesn't happen. So that the whole thrust of the B plot was that we make fun of Kelrek, and then he gets over it. One could assume that the B plot is about an ambassador, an emissary, if you will, from the Alpharati, and our A plot is about emissaries / ambassadors / diplomats as well. That tenuous connection, though, it doesn't go far enough because the B plot does not complete itself. There is nothing to resolve the issue with these aliens. I know it's not really about the aliens, it's about the theme, I know, but this is Star Trek and I want a little bit more of the sci-fi stuff. It's called Star Trek. I'm allowed to have some expectations, am I not? The expectations were not fulfilled. I thoroughly did not like the B plot here. I almost wish it wasn't there. It would have been better if we had some more scenes with Sam, I guess, even though they're not perfect. Sam is trying to emulate Sisko. Sisko got into a bar fight. She has to go with the cadets to some bar. I forget what it's called. They just call it Academy or Friday nights or Cadet night or something. I just watched it again 5 seconds ago and I can't remember what it was called or the general atmosphere of it, other than it really reminded me of Star Trek 2009. I was getting some serious Star Trek 2009 vibes with the general kind of, the milieu around this bar, the fighting, the lighting. And Sam wants to understand what it means to be drunk. And Caleb Meir is only too happy to oblige because he reprograms her on the spot. For each click of this button is one shot or whatever, like a cup. And she immediately ramps it up to like 12 or something, making herself very drunk. And Caleb is not interested in helping her. He just leaves. I don't know if at any point this is possible, but I was wondering the whole time if Caleb could just bring up this display again and reduce the alcohol level that is simulated in her body. It seems like a complicated program to make. Let's just on the fly reprogram a hologram so that it can pretend to be drunk accurately. Makes you go, But then again, Caleb Meir is a miracle worker. He's perfect at a lot of different things, and this is one of them. Caleb runs off to go talk to, what was her name, Tarima, and that goes as you'd expect. They end up just doing what people do. I guess they kiss or something. But Sam gets into a fight because Sisko got into a fight. She punches somebody in the head, knocks them over, and everybody's shocked, including me. and later we were reprimanded by the doctor. I'm very disappointed in you. You were just trying to be like the Sisko, the Benjamin Sisko. The doctor says that he never met Sisko, but the person he's based on, what was it, Zimmerman? I think that's what his name was. The physical doctor met him or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But they kind of they have a dialogue about learning to live, laugh, love, and forget. In this case, forget people who have died. How did Sisko's son come around to the idea of the emissaries controlling his father and just letting him go like that? The doctor more or less just says, "Move on, get over it. Time will heal that wound." Very wise words from the doctor. If they sound super mean, but actually time for humans, as it were, does tend to heal some wounds. Not all of them, but it does help. So Sam comes away with a new understanding of what it means to be drunk, and a new understanding of what it means to be in a fight like Sisko. As we emulate Sisko, we become more like the Sisko. Somehow I wonder if Bajorans are doing this right now. As a matter of fact, you'll notice in this episode that they never show Benjamin Sisko's face. I think that's because they couldn't get the legal rights to his likeness. They looked through a storybook earlier in this episode about the mystery of Benjamin Sisko and his life, and you'll notice that on these artistic depictions of Benjamin Sisko, they don't show his face. They come up with a reasonable explanation in that the Bajorans don't want to physically depict him because he's supposed to be more than human. He's supposed to be like more than a physical being. I bet you they just didn't have the rights to use his likeness. I bet you that's it. Although he does appear at the very end purely in audio form. And from what I understand, it's a pre-recording. It's from something else. So Benjamin Sisko, Avery Brooks, actually has nothing in this episode whatsoever. Good. Way to go, Avery Brooks. You don't have to come back. He's retired a long time ago, and coming back is just one more chance to have a problem, to make a mistake, to, ruin something. If it was good already, let's leave it alone. That's just how I am. Your opinion may vary, your mileage may vary, as I am wont to say, but we do end our episode off with a discussion somehow between Jake Sisko and Sam. Remember that Sam is existing beyond the fourth wall in this episode. This episode takes place in a reality that is not quite the reality you expect. Things happen in a way that you don't understand. She's given a book, Anselm, which is Bjorn for father. I believe this book did appear, or it was something that Jake was working on in Deep Space Nine. I'm trying to remember. Never finished, never published. That's the way Jake Sisko kept his father close. Sam is reading from this book. I believe she gets it from Isla. She opens it, and then she actually physically meets Jake Sisko. I didn't understand it either. She opens the book. It's like a hologram. She even speculates that when she closes this book, he'll go away. For a brief moment, I forgot that Deep Space Nine was like centuries ago. I forgot. Like, this is an older Jake Sisko, and I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's old because this is Starfleet Academy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Deep Space Nine was a long time ago. There's no way he survived like 800 years or so. So I really forgot this, and I thought that, okay, maybe the book is just summoning this hologram of Jake Sisko, and then I remembered that Sam is probably a projection somehow of Sam's mind. Sam has been putting graphics on the screen in front of us. She's been messing with the camera. Maybe she can put Jake Sisko in front of us, because they have a conversation that seems two ways, genuinely, which shouldn't be possible. But unless this was a pre-programmed holographic depiction of Jake Sisko, but I have no idea the veracity of that. She reads the book. She's told that she's enough. And the conclusion here is that Benjamin Sisko, in living the life he wanted to live, he was incidentally following the path laid out for him by the emissaries. Even the things he wanted to do led to the same outcome. So he was told X, Y, and Z. He did A, B, and C. He did it his way, just like that song, and still ended up in the Celestial Temple. The idea there is that you can disregard your maker in Sam's case, and still end up completing your mission. And that's how Sam fits that final puzzle piece into her mind. In order to understand humans, in order to understand organics, at a certain point you have to disregard your own maker. So Benjamin Sisko had disregarded the emissaries, the prophets, and still ended up fulfilling his role. In the same way, Sam will now turn off her connection with her makers, the other photonics, and now come full circle with what it means to be organic. Being organic, I guess, means being not the master of your own endpoint, your own destiny, but the master of your actions in the moment. Okay? I think that's the broader theme here. And at the very last moment, she asks Isla Dax, I spoiled it. She asks Isla, how did you know about the tomatoes? How did you know that Benjamin Sisko liked tomatoes in his gumbo? It never said that in this book anywhere. And she does the classic Star Trek hair move. Remember when we did that with, who was it? That Romulan person in Picard season 2, where she moves her hair and it's the ear. You're a Romulan. This time, Illa moves her hair to reveal Trill spots. So she's some kind of combination Cardassian and Trill, and she is Isla Dax. She has the Dax symbiont. What that means is that she's been in Deep Space Nine. She was there, and she's indeed very, very old, and she has personal experience with Benjamin Sisko. And thus concludes our mission with Sam to understand the Sisko and herself, and that was series Acclamation Mill. Species Acclamation Mission. That would have been a cool name for Sam, but alas, that's not what they went with. This episode, like the previous episode, I thought their heart was in the right place. I thought they were trying. It's in here, right? Star Trek is in here, not the badge. What's behind the badge? Or the other side if you're a Bajoran, because I believe the badge is on the other side with them. It's in here. And I think that it was not extremely mean-spirited. You can be stupid, you can be silly, you can be conniving, but if you're trying, I have to kind of give you, your just desserts. I have to give you your dues. Our B plot, like I said, with Kelrek was disappointing and sad, and I don't like feeling bad, and I don't like feeling bad for the characters on screen, and I did feel bad. Our A plot entirely with Sam was the mission to discover, is Sisko alive or not? Thankfully, we do not answer the question. Good. We do not actually go back and ruin anything, although, like I said earlier with my disclaimer, that can't be a factor in the review score, because I can't review something based on what was not there. What we do learn is that Sam is now acting of her own accord, more so out of the exact purview of her photonic overlords. Although I did wonder in the back of my mind, are they just going to turn her off? I thought for a minute they were just going to turn her off, like just delete her. But anyway, Sam's adventure to become more organic, in a sense, to better understand them, is completed in her own small little way by learning about Jake Sisko, Benjamin Sisko, what it means to be an emissary, what it means to have your destiny laid out for you, but having your choices be your own in the here and now. And believe me, these organics are probably living in the here and now more so than the hereafter. Thematically, we have emissaries, ambassadors, one with Kelrek and one with Sam. Kelrek one's terrible, the Sam one is good enough. And plot-wise, it's very much not a plot. It's not a plotty episode. Not much happens. The plot with Kelrek and the ambassador from the Alpharati ambassador is not physically resolved on screen. We don't actually move the ship anywhere. We don't move Starfleet Academy anywhere. We just have Sam on her own adventure to get in trouble and do what she has to do to figure out how she fits into this whole world, how she fits in it, how she lives, and how she loves and laughs. Wow. Placemats, wall hanging decorations. I'm enough. But was it enough? Music wise, there's a lot of callbacks to Deep Space Nine. I'm cheap like that. You see, I can be impressed by trinkets too, right? I can be impressed by the trinket of music. If you play some old music, you're kind of making me happy. Visually, we don't even go to New Orleans. We go to a virtual display of New Orleans, transported into the Academy somehow. We get to see an old costume from Benjamin Sisko, which was cool. We don't get to see the fire eels. We don't get to see the ocean warming up. We don't get to see the people, the Alpharati people. We get to see a cool looking fish on a table. And we get to visually see Jake Sisko returning in the flesh, although in the flesh in a hologram, as it would seem. So yeah, we're winning on a few fronts. There's not much plot. There's not many visuals that are good, other than just the appearance of Cirroc Lofton. Plot-wise, there's nothing there. Thematically, heart's in the right place. I think I got what they were saying, but it would have been cool if the A-plot and the B-plot reflected each other a little bit more, like I thought they were going to try to. All in all, series Acclamation Mill, that being the 5th episode of Starfleet Academy Season 1, I'm going to have to go ahead and give this one just a 5. If I could, if I could give it if it was possible to give it like a 4.75, I probably would, right? But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be simple. I'm going to give it a 5. I don't break them down that way. I don't get that granular with it. But this is just a 5. It's just average. It gets by. It didn't really wow me that much. We needed more in the sci-fi kind of alien presence. We needed more in their B plot. We needed more. We need more of a plot. We need more things to happen. The writing was not always that wonderful. When your writing is relying on a lot of trite, short aphorisms, little moral tidbits. You're enough. I want to be where all Sisko's love is, because Sisko had a lot of love to give to his family. And family is good because love is big. And when we understand love, we know that we can reach truly the stars with each other. And I'm Lieutenant Merrick, and I'm going to see you when I see you at the next time. I love you all. I'm Lieutenant Merrick, and I'm flying away into the celestial YouTube temple, and I will return one day. So long.